okay, your mother and father both Italian immigrants?
My mother is Sicilian. My father...
My apologies.
No. My mother had red hair. She was very fair, like you. And my father was very dark, and he had very curly hair. And he was from Puglia, Giovinazzo, near Bari. And so it was not an intermarriage, but almost. Yeah. Because
okay,
my
so
mother
you have to
is...
explain that to you. You have to explain that to me because, forgive my ignorance,
Yeah,
okay?
no,
Mi dispiace.
No.
But you have said, and this is how I'll get into this, is that I'm Irish. I'm 100% Irish, though I did not know it until a few years ago.
Right.
You said that being Southern Italian is like being Irish. What does that mean?
Well,
there's comparisons between the two.
Yes, there is. I mean, we used to always have fights and everything like that, but we have a lot, in common.
The flags are very similar.
Yes, the flags are similar, and we're always oppressed and poor, and people love music. The music was always a big thing, poetry. Mm-hmm. But I think there was just, Italy is like a little continent, and it was the kingdom of the two Sicilies, and that was southern Italy, and then there was the rest of Italy, which was different.
We think in America, it's Italy.
No, it was unified in after the Civil War. And so it's very different. They had different languages. So my father was very prejudiced against Sicilians, and that would come up when they would have arguments, my mother and father. So
would he say you're not Italian?
No, he would say you're a dirty Sicilian. You know what I mean?
How did
and my
that
mother
go?
would, of course, always be cutting something, and she'd always had a knife. She always had a knife. She was always with the knife. She said, "That's right." She said, and she used to tell him, and you fool with me. She said, "I'll stick it right in you." This is right in front of a little kid. Your parents are talking this way, and you think. And and my father, I remember, because he was quite a character. He would say, "Well, if you stab me," he said, "make sure you do a good job, because it takes a lot to kill me." He would tell him. These are normal conversations.
You know what?
I grew up around. And
the kids these days, they don't get the upbringing that you did.
Yeah. But I have to say, there was a real kind of sexual heat between them always,
Really?
Always. There was always this little steam in the kitchen, You kind of got that there was, real love there between them. But even though they expressed it in a very, very, one thing actually, it's funny, because I didn't mean to say this, but it's actually in the film I made, Romance and Cigarettes, when my father was sick. When he died of lung cancer, and my mother did all kinds of fun things for him, and he was sick, and he told my mother to do something to him. He said, every once in a while, I didn't know that he had asked her. He said, just scare me.
What?
Scare me, just shock me or something every once in a while. He said, so I know I'm alive, because he wasn't feeling, he was feeling really bad, And I didn't mean to say this, actually. It's weird. And so I didn't know that he had asked my mother to do that, So I was in the living room with him, and he's saying, I said, "How you feeling, Dad?" And I'm like, "Yeah, not so good," or whatever. And my mother runs into the room with a big knife, like this, ah, just like that, and it's a true story. And I'm like, holy fuck, what's going on, And my father, throws his hands up, and this big smile on his face, like looking at her I'm crazy about this woman, you know what I mean? And I saw this thing go between them, and then he started laughing a little bit, and she walked out of the room. And I was like, "What was that?" He goes, "Your mother does that for me every once in a while."
Well, when you said when your reaction said, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
Love.
That's what it
Love's
was.
going on.
No, it was yeah. So they had this crazy, So I think that probably had more of an effect on me, even though I studied with a lot of great acting teachers. One acting teacher told me when I was young, she said, I was, raw, and she was helping me basically, refine my craft or whatever. And she said, one of the problems you do have, John, is that She said, in real life, you're a little shy. She said, but when you work, you're not inhibited. And if you're going to play a character who's inhibited, you have to work on that, And because I'd grown up in a house that wasn't really inhibited, it was, you were always kind of bobbing and weaving, through the house.